Here's part 11 of fact checking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. from the presidential debate. And I feel like my eyes are bleeding. I've been researching so much for this one. I'm going to try something new for this one. I'm going to play the clip and stop it where I'm going to fact check, and then roll the clip and see how that goes. Let me know if you like when I play the whole clip and then fact check, or if you like when I cut it off.
I don't know why they single out black people, but it's certainly true that some minorities in America do not do as well as us white people. And should government do something about that?
And I agree with the assessment that inflation is disproportionately hurting black people because they're wage earners. They've got disproportionately fixed income.
So again, he said, I agree with the assessment that inflation is disproportionately hurting black people because they're wage earners. They've got disproportionately fixed incomes, and this is true. But I also want to give additional information. Now, Kennedy didn't say that blacks are being hit the hardest. He just said they're disproportionately being hit by inflation and that it's true, but Hispanics are being hit actually even higher than blacks. And this is reported by Liberty Street Economics, where they report that Hispanics are hit the hardest, then blacks, then whites, and then Asians.
The border is disproportionately hurting black and Hispanic workers. I hear that every single day. I spent 10 years working with Cesar Chavez during the last part of his life. He had two issues. One was pesticides, the disproportionate impact of pesticides on Hispanics. The other issue was the border, because he understood all of these illegal immigrants coming across the border were hurting the capacity of his workers, American workers, to get good jobs and wages. The issue that they didn't talk about, two issues. One is education. We spend $50 billion a year on the Department of Education.
Kennedy said that we spend $50 billion a year on the Department of Education. That's actually false. We spend $80 billion a year, so much more than what he said.
And black kids in this country, it's a crime what is happening to their schools. When I was a kid, we had the best educated kids by every measure of any country in the world. We're now 22.
Listen, I researched this one for hours today and I could not come up with a definitive answer, so I don't want to tell you whether it's true or false. I'm just going to encourage everyone to do their own research about this.
Throwing billions of dollars, and in inner city schools, most of these kids cannot read or do math at grade level. It is a crime. We need to give them choice. We need to give them charter schools. Neither of them have done anything about it. The last issue, which both of them have aggravated, is the mass incarceration crisis. 1 out of every 4 black men has had some contact with the correctional service. And 60% of the blacks in American jails are there for nonviolent drug offenses.
I hate to do this to you twice in one video, but I'm not going to say whether this is true or false. Let me tell you why. I found data that confirms this from the 90s, and I cannot find relevant data today, anytime recent, that confirms or denies this. So that's what I have to say about that.
Why? Because President Biden passed the Drug Act in 1986 that he wrote that gave 100 times the penalty for crack cocaine as powder cocaine. It was designed to put blacks in jail. Then he passed in 1994 omnibus crime bill with the super predatory provisions, the mandatory sentencing, the 3 strikes you're out. Those 2 bills doubled the amounts of blacks in American prison. The amounts of blacks in American prison were steady from the Civil War till then.
Back to CNN.
This one's loaded. I'm going to try to make this as brief as I can. Kennedy said that President Biden passed the Drug Act in 1986 that he wrote. That part is false. He did not write it. He sponsored it, co-sponsored it. He did not write that bill. That gave 100 times the penalty for crack cocaine as powder cocaine, which is true. It was designed to put blacks in jail, and the Equal Justice Initiative say that that is true. And he goes on to talk about the 1994 crime bill, and that one Joe Biden did write, and that one did pass. And those 2 bills are criticized for leading to mass incarcerations. That's what I have for you for this one. Let me know if you like this format better, and as always, let me know your thoughts, and make sure you're following me for more.